We have this project to change our silence into the beautiful city of a voice. That's from Alice Notley's poem, Millions of Us. This reading was originally scheduled for March 25th, 2020. It does feel that the silence of this church and this city since that date have been changed many times over to outrage, ecstasy, conviction, compassion, all of the beautiful ways a city is voiced in our different shifting amongness. It is thrilling and humbling now to say after these many months, welcome to the Poetry Project. Welcome to St. Mark's Church. I'm Kyle Decoyan. I'm the executive director here. It is deeply, almost ineffably special to be here with you in this room, which we have not been gathered in since our New Year's Day marathon at the beginning of 2020. The Poetry Project has been presenting live readings, performance, and other work out of St. Mark's Church in the Bowery since 1966. We are committed to continuously and critically engaging the history and future of our presence in this particular space, and as part of that, we would like to begin tonight's event by acknowledging that this venue is built upon unceded indigenous land, specifically the territory of the Lenape people. We recognize the continual displacement and violence perpetrated against indigenous people and people of color by the U.S., and are aware that these kinds of acknowledgments can be misused as stand-ins for actual decolonization work, which is something for us to bear in mind as we go forward in our ongoing commitment to accountability, reparation, and equity. We feel both tremendous responsibility and vast possibility as a community of poets and co-conspirators to form new psychic terrain of this radiant place. And certainly, Alice Notley's work is in the poetic fundament of our project. Across decades and books, she has continuously charted new dimensions of language, her cartography attuned to some frequency, it seems, beyond human perceivable time, definitely beyond human structures of order. She resists circumscription, the mantles of rule and conventional legibility, but she is a poet of abiding communication, and her sense of words is almost haptic or social, the elements of speech bearing all of the instability, aging, romance, and disobedience of people. For the Ride, published by Penguin last year, follows a protagonist identified to us as One, who is harboring with others upon an ark an imperiled cargo of words in the wake of apocalypse. This is hardly the first epic by Notley whose narrative contours and inventions of language have presented some kind of sigil across multiple time. One, the reading one, might contextualize this work within our decaying landscape of information, the threats of deterioration presented to language by machines of media, algorithm, and political speech. But there is almost a hope within this work that words, vaporous, immaterial, and yet, of course, consequential, have somewhere or somehow an inviolable outlaw core. What is a word without the one who speaks or listens or reads? What will words be after us, without us? The sincere premise of that question seems actually to hold some liberatory promise. There is tireless vision for the epic and lyric horizons in Notley's work. The forms of her poems have both anticipated and unraveled our structures of atrocity. She has most recently completely remade the poetic line with work that requires our reading in the physical shape and manner of figures and terrains. Alice Notley was born in Bisbee, Arizona, and grew up in Needles, California. She's the author of more than 35 books of poetry, including Mysteries of Small Houses, winner of the Los Angeles Times Book Prize, and a finalist for the Pulitzer, Disobedience, winner of the Griffin Prize, and Grave of Light, new and selected poems, 1970 to 2005, which received the Lenore Marshall Poetry Prize. Her honors also include an Academy Award in Literature from the American Academy of Arts and Letters and the Shelley Memorial Award from the Poetry Society of America. She lives and works in Paris. She's here with us tonight. And at last, it gives me great pleasure, and it is a truly bracing honor to welcome Alice Notley to the Poetry Project.
Hello. Everyone has a mask on, my God. I think I still know who you all are. My friends. My hands are shaking. And I'm not even a Berrigan. Okay. Poem. It doesn't matter if a poem is clear or not, hard or not. It's basic and ongoing creation of the universe in terms of the particles as I speak it, the poem. If you're reading it, you hear me too. The bits of sound, thought, word, seen, without senses if you're dead. All you have to do with it is nothing. Everything else is such a big deal thing. Poetry's mere reality. No proof, just be here. Proving's a human invention. Poetry is what you do with mind, which is what there is. Just listen a little. No one cares if you understand it. Who understands why we're alive? I haven't understood anything since an academic subject. I was walking, say, near the Grand Magasin. How? You once learned? You learned how to walk. The man with a monkey and 3 dogs isn't there anymore. I go inside and buy presents, Baccarat or Swarovski. I understand death now. A crazed taxi driver told me he did time for protesting war in front of Galerie Lafayette. Is this part of the poem? I gave up and just listened to him. for which audience he was so grateful he carried my suitcase to my door. In December, when I had had surgery but not yet radiotherapy. He was from La Réunion, and it is possible, holding it together with what are called words, but again, particles of communication, the particles. All that's there, all that's there. Real mirage, etc. Jack's the highway. No, I am, of course. And each voice at once. Jack says, I see the orange ghost. The orange ghost of formless stippling says, I am come to catch a fire. The fire everywhere says, I have to, everyone and thing. I say, I'm the real mirage on the highway, standing ahead, arms outstretched to inform you. I am the option and the form. The fire's chasing you, a car straight into me, receiving you heartwise. I am the terrorist dead. What language tells me to slow down? He says, I can't face you. You are heading straight into me on Jack's highway, and you will face your victims and me. What language? What does that word mean? What do any words about language? What can they possibly mean? I'm on fire, the child screams. Run into my arms, says the mirage. I am walking with, says Jack, an orange ghost stippled on my air. I am the real mirage, I say. Realer than the orange ghost. The flames themselves are on fire. When, says someone at all, when is it now? In heaven, it is written that the flames are licking your ghost, which leaves you because you're burnt, but is then engulfed. The tears, the person in tears says, can I put out the fire with tears? Rock doesn't burn, the mountain says, I stand up scorched. Don't you know, says the bird with fiery feathers, my nest is on fire. Everything anyone says, Jack says, scorches me. Scorches me, the orange ghost says in front of him. I, the real mirage, say, I'm standing on the highway fireproof. My language is fireproof. The old language, indestructible, so deep it cannot catch. It has no mass, nonetheless, is all force, is being, and it doesn't burn up. Even when all your cities and your brains and thoughts burn up, and the libraries of dominion burn and computers crackle down, the old language spoken by essence, spoken by tongues of flame, spoken by ether and abyss, by the primal air's cross-stitched transparency, remains to be the highway, be I, the real mirage, the surviving shiver. I am going to read one of the chapters of For the Ride Now, and then I'm going to read some other poems, and then I'm going to read some other poems. This is the second to last section called The Memory of Nerves. I wrote these little notes yesterday. Post-apocalypse voyage to another dimension. That's what goes on in this book. Language in a state of change, both deliberate and chaotic. Protagonist 1, the protagonist is named 1, at this point has absorbed the other voyagers and entered the afterlife alone. In this, the climactic second to last chapter, 1 confronts one's dead brother and then one's own nervous system. There's only one pronoun, one, and everyone talks funny. The memory of nerves. And then says, how's one here? That one of ones, known previously as, in no past tense, brother. Let's get this language. Don't go with that one, huh? Pastly. No, but one's here with one now. Don't go with dead isn't unfriendly. One means, then one's not dead. One will never find out. Long, loving at the long, which is thine soul, liquid static of. I, moi, one, empty voice static of cloud, shifting from a shelf, wit to dance in the wet as my vowels do, changing for these events. What events? Des avant or second port of the witch's watch. With me comes along part of flurry, say, cause abolish, lesh, past. By changing this here lang, whatever's done's now different words too. If ya kill, it's a kell. Ya killin' them. Then, but I had to die of it. The kells come so beautiful, new for I'm the dead. And that is beautiful. Your face is weird. But one doesn't have a foos. It melts. Now you have new one of face, cause it's so lit of light. Pastly, kelling, one to do that. At same time someone else does. One is, someone else bejuggled. Light my skeleton, burn it with the guilt one's always knowing. Humans know it, all of them. I, one, kelling, others like one. Like? How about lek? One's not lek, anyone else. This, the one, refusing to be lek, alek. Even here I won't be alek, for is one not all there is within? And one, Keller, says, like moi, no one's like moi, who kelled. But it's changing. I almost did by now in these ports. One, says one, would shed it all now shod in what's one. Is this what goes on in the wind, crystal ruby wand of bless? No one wants one to have been good. That wish is coming from one. Thought ones don't have wish anymore. It's a fossil, delicate. One keeps it clean and dusted off next to the iron buckle with its blunt yellow stone upon, walking to devil's elbow, yellow stones, agate, or a park, lost to global destruction, detail of lost civilization in room containing elbow, towards which walking away from one. This is the real in a dream, one's containing all of their thought, avec tous il contient, outside one for all to dream of. I am talking to you, but can't get past these strong images. Don't you mean those wee wordies? Once, after I died, you placed your forehead against mine, absorbing my blood, the blood of my thought. Past tense. One's doing it now. One can't be alone, but I don't have to be like anyone. One shouts, one's not like any you, not because thou killed someone's, but because don't have to be lick. Don't have to speak like structure blown in, mist around the elbow. Ah, those dead old rocks, my love. Someone understands what one's saying. Maybe one, but one's enough to ken. It's not private. It's tied in knots. Oh, images get set loose for the ones, all's outside one's mind as in it, so one can veer between full and empty. Why dost one still want to be with me, murderer? Words, from time of those words, that there must be justicia. Who is the just, or the just, us ones? If there'd be just the ones one appraves, art thou depraved, oh someone? Moi, I'll be that, one says a while back, buck on bike. One remembers when one takes the I'll do your dirty work for you oath at oat. 8. What does one eat here? Have no digestion in the dream. From a barrel, unburrowed phantasms dispensed, unpantsed from the chaos. Just a little lace mire or moray. Itinerantly worded, one's here and can't sleep, or is asleep for air. In words of the final version, I'm not sorry anymore, I'm lexic. Recognize that tune from the tone, that's tone of voice, tine of vice, one means that. I sway this way, that, forgetting what my sin is. What's your sign? Dud planet. Universe is my vocal cord. Each one is it. Aren't you all of it too? Covered with these stars, or our words stars scratched on one, but one still coupable. Guilty of what in layered scenes, swift images alive for air in air. I am doing that in firefight. Forget it now, and it's some zodiac, exuded by our skin of starry story, dissolved before it's real. One means one doesn't ever do thing in chaos. Ones are some chaos tale. Foam, it's just gray susurration. What did it, didn't do, did I, didn't do, or don't, daddy, daddling, dead little earth home on which one do that. Not the me. Cow, ow, oh, how is called that word? Anthropomorphism. That's the what I'm anthropomorph. I, the universe, speak through me. Guilty one. Get it or gut it? One stone lips geologic. Rock reason. Stone bastard. One as rock is subject to such violence. Who dreams of? Oh, tectonic. And the burningest of suns hit, or is it hurt? Ask with your gravity, force, and mass. Do you have a mass? Chaos has shiftingness of equation. And bro goes for a spell, goes away to a coincidence of layer. One in win, one's of then, who of, O Sudan, I am all of thens, nows, not only of ones, thine, O. Why would this, a good animal, do what other ones say they're sure of? Brain turns away from their hands. That's influence, hell of a word. Any raccoon washes apple because it understands that that's what works. One goes to the story, fearing this timelessness I'm in. Yes, one's member, another body, youth body. Now one's the shmoo, anagram, the grammarian of your elation. Don't let it take over. Remember, you're guilty. I'm riding through the trees, creatures of night, hairy philosophers saying bingo because they're on, the alternate tides coming in. I see myself past baby as some thou pretending to function. I ain't robotic chum, fatal to be typecast as girl of dreams or anything they have to in stock. You've chalk legs and a hymen, say. Remember something lovely. That isn't my imagination, just yours. Ghost of nervous system, so-called spangled hairnetty limbed thing approaches. Are you me? I'm what they said that you were, without the meat on. I'm sketchy constellation, science is an animal as nailed down, supposed, what one's wanted one to be. Art here? I exist now imagined. Thou art a net of spelling. Oh, I'm a spell cast. Thou art called me? I? Oh, did one call a phantom? I am your memory, they'd say. Who? Some formerly alive, separate from me like weather. Words are within thy form then, and the famous grammar is too. Yet here one is bespeaking. All the things one remembers without experiencing them are thought real, as if everything, like my brother Heaven's map. One doesn't learn how to be here. Nervous system suggests form, but it isn't one's form at all. New brains, a dahlia flaming hawk or spread black through, another image, nail lung. O thou ghost of nerves, what's the lung? O walking memory, what? It's a skeletal taxonom, lost unwebbed, floating like one, all had pinned down the improvised, as the langs made up on spot at a floater's bit of chaos, huh? Make it up out of the dreams. Who then nails it? One, the phantom. But one's not part of one now. Oh, the poor outsider from bliss. No luck, that's luck, or that's luck. Don't nail it, nile it. A revue winds round the elbow. Of comes out of the mouth of one. How could I ever stand it just to see them two blue eyes, glutinous bodies, bulbs of phantom? Don't make fun of one. Is one real without thou, the net of nerves? Everything exists and study. I'm the product of learning, but not one. Then how come one already knows what thou knowest? Because everything is just that. No difference between being and knowing. Not here, we're all same, egal, and different too. One is all the tenses again, that thou phantom filtered out. One is concise as one spirals. Oh, of the emotions calm. I am almost home. I have always been there, but there's no home. Sailing gray void with soul suckers, and one's truer companions, warring with frescoed images, all the while here in true nothing, with voices abandoned. We the ones are the day. Noth is one's vast concision bod. Do you get it, my former nerves? They do other things, them voices, talking to one all the day, whether I'm alive or in dead. I mean both at the same time. Oneself, says neural net, is tuned to existence of objects. Yes, but they're in several spots too. You're a one-level being. Will I come undone? You're over there in a desiccated heap while you're here. Still don't get the long while speaking it to the all fiddly. The consciousness is light, not a patch on other forms. So, one's talking around, evolved but didn't start is the ticket. Oh, blah. Here's a taxon. Here's history. Right on one's squishy tongue. Don't have that in great room. Under at one's a crawler. Under tongue system. Heritage. Here an insect. It's as big as I am. Sounding big in nerve tree. No nerve tree here. I am always this song. Hum, violet ashen. Hum, poise a good. Hum, at attention free. That's now one. Flowers in drawn, flaring close to wire. Would death blow in bottle, humming in hum, an urchin. Calabesa, palace, talons like tin. Besame continues. Look at hum. Looks like letters coming up. Invention. In the crosshairs, same time. Hairs are a mash rubbed together of way. There's no way. If it's one, this is the way. All at the same tensor hum. I place it arcwise hum. One's placing under a nerve in one, a humming unnerved to fill one up is the way to surface. Okay, I'm going to read a few human being poems, and then I'm going to read some weird ones again, and we'll close with the weird ones. If I can keep my voice. This is a set of human being poems written in 2017. This is from a manuscript called As I Was Being Reflected Upon, which is a line from Frank O'Hara. Anyway, I was trying to determine if anything had happened in the previous 17 years because I had had breast cancer in 2016. These are just some ones that are relevant to what else I'm reading. So, sort of. That kind of poem. It's lovely. No more radiation treatments, though everyone prefers being alarmed about politics to poetry, and that's a mistake. But it's a crisis, of course. I'm so happy not to go to l'Institut Curie. At least for months I dreamed of an empty body last night, a decision as to what necklace should be put inside it. Last June, you knew all this was coming, yes, and every day writing poetry, creating the real world. I answered the phone to a telemarketer on Thursday, and a voice says in French, "I'm calling on behalf of Monsieur Lorenzo, the medium." I hung up laughing and thought of Lorenzo Thomas. After he died 2005, I dreamed he burst out of his coffin in Chicago, the Diversey Street house where we first bonded, 72. He was wearing a shower cap, but seemed to be exhorting me to what? And dust. There was dust on him. It was a long time ago. Vietnam. My brother's just back, I said to him. Who would have thought, the poem says, I'd be still alive and in Paris, France for the health care. This dusty form is my beauty crystal necklace. You're smashing, Lorenzo. Great poet. Who we were, I can't figure what lasts on a tiny planet of phantasmagoria except one's love. Jem Carroll's Ass. Nothing seems real, yet I'm willing to play the real game for ones I love, and when I'm sick, I go get pills. But more and more hovering above it, and then is it a question of for who? That's why I no longer have memories. I don't care about them, though I can contrive more, but don't belong to them anymore. Do you really think everyone is benighted? Someone, in effect, asked. I guess I said yes. What emanates from me is crackling love, electrical currents, and aliveness. Everything else I do, remember playing games, Pac-Man at midnight in the months before Ted died. Jim Carroll's favorite being Ms. Pac-Man. One has an official position that humanity's history has erroneously deemed women untalented, ineffectual at its projects over literally millions of years. Therefore, humanity's likely to be wrong about anything, no, everything, and nothing whatsoever is happening except for pain. Isn't this ridiculous? Yet I like to remember Jim Carroll mooning Ted at the entrance to Julian's Billiards Academy. The first time I met him, he was showing off for me and had a pearly ass. This is cerebrality. But not within the time frame of my research. Somewhere in a room outside this whole place, Earth, an infinitely large, unshaped one, this poem, already written, is being translated through tubes or pathways into my mind or heart. I am, and it's all covered by me who already wrote it. I don't have an audience. We are a membrane of receptive contiguity, abstractly avial and wing white. Gravel Ghost or Gravel Gertie. I got the shuttle in Dallas. The man sitting beside me, window seat, slept. He was wearing new spiffy boots and a sort of combat outfit. Then he woke up, asked to get out, and came back from the bathroom, wide awake and talkative. Drugs? I remember he told me he'd been still did work for the Special Forces. Had been in Europe just now, so I told him I lived in France, and we discussed how the euro was doing. He said he also worked in Vegas, where we were headed, as a bodyguard for Sheldon Adelson. I couldn't remember who that was. The guy had, in fact, grown up in Vegas. I'd grown up in Needles. We were flying in over Lake Mead. I remember because I just came across a photo of a flower called Gravel Ghost, said to grow near Lake Mead, white petals, serrated top edges. Here photographed as slightly blurry, ghostly. Going to Needles because Mama's dying. She used to gamble at the hotel, what was its name, in Henderson, where Adelson. The man next to me and I resemblant by coming from the same desert and knowing Europe. I will stay the night in the Doubletree. The lake is drying up. My brother was in LRR, not Special Forces in Nam. I used to be a pacifist, but now I'm nothing but soul. Gravel Gertie, the bag lady in Dick Tracy, was the local nickname in Needles for Marie, my heroine in my book of poems, Culture of One. Gravel Ghost, you beauty, you one-eyed star, purple verbena everywhere existent, and certain yellows plus Indian paintbrush in Arizona. Red? Don't look at anyone with any words or stories. It's very pale, like spit or clear snot. Just happen to be here, buzzing. There's a reason we love you, swirling like ghosts around you. But I was trying to remember the past 3,000 years. Sex concentrates mystery that permeates the universe. Are you an audience member now there? We're never, and nothing ever. It happened like at the Bataclan. The audience gets shot to pieces. If I can have enough space between thoughts, I'll find out who I am. But you know and we love. I came to this venue to pay the price, didn't you? Or the kosher food store. Shrinking the mind is, because internet too fast buzz, that wasn't what I said. It was in the highlands, going together. Everyone's moving around the game pieces, not players, really. Like game pieces, not players, really. Their beauty, There, I'm hoarse. This is how we can. All these loose motives. Why? Stop it. I don't have to offer the thing. In 1919, my mother was born. My grandmother. These people, Libby, press, we know who you are. Reality. I am reality. I call to all you spirits, all you saints, to cleanse the minds of my living adjuncts. What is a thing? Of all the things that can go wrong, what is a thing? Which ones caused me to see castle battlement-colored formations on the periphery of my eyes? I'm not telling. But loopy, zany visions, interesting. What are you thinking about? Different parts or areas of me are thinking. The conscious one that writes, that has to draw from a boundless, obscure cache, and one place dreams, and one place sings without knowing how. This is obvious. What memory are you trying to recover, not reupholster? Evasion. I walk into no near and as early as 8th century church, Rue du Louvre, Saint-Germain-l'Auxerrois, down the street from which a private detective agency advertising itself in neon, Du Look Detective. There's also a shop nearby for model ships, EOL Modelisme. I use the church for the Ride, a poem still unpublished in 2017. But this is, 2010. Also, Monet's Water Lilies, other arrondissements, because the micro bits can come from anything. The glyph, I call it, holds all in place. We are leaving Earth for another dimension. Is it too a self area, though tremendous, full of imagined and real dead voices, characters, and my brother? You are all my brother. No, Albert is a particular dead man. I am healing every day. Each church is built on another older site, endless layering of who you'd know yourself to be. If the consciousness could be released into all of it, do you hear how this is a poem different from speaking because the microtones sound holy even when humorous? There is construction near the trees and something yellow. I never go inside them, the churches. I like to take energy from the ground. Or if I enter, sit down, planting my feet, it's something magnetic in the shadowy parts of air, and nothing happens, except in the poem, which is profoundly scary. If you stay with it, what part of the microbits of reality swarm and regather? Saint, what of Saint Chaos? Alcalaja typeset visage, would an extraterrestrial have to communicate with what? What do you say, oh tiny bees joined into a shape for a somehow mean in outer space? The castle battlements note structural atoms blue and orange red, usually a visual aberration for half an hour. Just like everything else, they are acquired in my 60s or recovered from anywhere, anything, everywhere. My personal definition of chaos. You're supposed to have a life. I'm supposed to be reinventing chaos. Polluted, it's so polluted. So more and more polluted and hot. Remember the year 2006, it was in the 70s at my birthday in November. We saw a flock of parakeets like green pigeons at a tree in Brooklyn. There was a botanica in that neighborhood. I wondered if you could buy a goat there to sacrifice, a fantasy of propitiation to the Yoruba pantheon. There are no gods, there are no people. The words are lies. If we called the gods people and the people gods, would we act like adults? Would we not stab the mammal to see if it bled? I once saw a guy who'd just been knifed on the corner of 1st and 9th. I was a block away, he was bleeding, I heard sirens, then I can't remember. The washing machine, the lavage, it's clean, and I don't know if he lived. That was earlier when I used to know how to remember. I am holding you together. I am like Legba, and I understand crossroads as every moment. I was living in Paris, but traveled often to New York at the corner of France and U.S. Who are you? It doesn't matter. As long as I could find the ally in myself, a light bursting out of my forehead and heart. I am standing here hoping to appease your brutality. Words said in the daily way, not poems, are incorrect, though an anecdote might be true and art. But the sun doesn't care about us, and we just try to get by, still owning cars like suicidal idiots. I just crossed out lines about watching a film with Eddie, ancient village folk singers remembering Dylan. I remember Mississippi John Hurt at the bitter end, I could say. Or Who Got Rich and Famous? What was that all about? I am the crossroads. What's happening? I'm what's happening, porous and permeated with scorching light. Change sound and syntax a little, pronoun I. It's an old cigar box I found in the basement Diversey Street house that had been a nursing home and where Ted saw a ghost. It has a black clipper ship on it. I kept it forever and put my stranger jewelry discards within and one of the special pearls maybe. I took everything out of it about a year ago and began to paste things in it, just a piece of white paper first. Then I needed crystal beads. I found a shop near Metro Réaumur. I only wanted a couple handfuls. They sold by a larger amount. I'm making something, I said. So she sold me 20 crystal beads. I wrote box of souls on the paper, then glued the beads down. I glued in a rather large piece of quartz I'd acquired in the 90s, and I found a clip-on light whose cord was transparent. It went in. Everything looks casually placed and on the verge of changing position. I don't know if it's done. When I close it, I forget, as I've forgotten to change how this poem sounds from those before, and I stack things on it, a box of souls. As all the souls in the universe, or anti-universe, having no size, being other than what we know could fit in there, the angels on the pinhead infinity in Emily Dickinson's brain. Another recent one is a cardboard box encrusted with paint and images, Queen of Diamonds and green and gold, after positing a new universe composed of cubicles and our choice of the fractured and rearranged pieces of previous trauma experience and namings of parts as if there were any parts, but we stand together angelic at the edge of ice thaw over abyss to choose and remake what we thought we once saw and did into our us, the cosmos. This is how I pass my time that no longer exists. Legs. I'm now going to read the last part. Are you all with me? Okay. I have a book coming out sometime next year that's composed of 6 books. It's 660 pages long at the moment. It's going to be published, believe it or not. It's called, what is it called? The Speak Angel series. And so I'm going to read from the end of the 6th book. And this is what I wrote about it. The universe is being remade, even collaged, out of old stuff, sadnesses, and new grace particles, and so on. As I write this description, my hand is sometimes seized by a soul who uses my hand to write. That is, I, the writer, am a character writing these pages, and every once in a while, some entity seizes my hand, and I write for it. This doesn't happen throughout, and I'm not clear where it happens because I have never read any of these before, and I don't seem to understand who's speaking ever in anything I'm reading at the moment. I am she, everyone's guilty. Place this irregularity onto, pose it briefly and let it go to itself so you can see what it is, because what we do telekinetically or via the connection between I and object called world, she moves within the cubic, I guess, cubical form, someone says. As you make art and others' eyes move inside it, anywhere you go. I refuse to destroy you, so we are elemental together, going on. The memorial put you in place as murderers. Privation, you needed something further to prevent you from monstrous acts, it was said. Inside the cube that I'm maintaining with parts of me, ancient anguish as dark grit or scum intermixes with my reflectiveness. some more of grid in my chest. For yes, Alan says, as our maker, you're allowed anything. So she takes my love scene, red and gold, and touches war and terror to it. I mean anguish as herself. It is a strange universe without justice, since everyone's guilty. Can you see it? It's visible that everyone's guilty. Among the living, the dead know they are and are sad. When I figured I owed everything I am to the dead, I was released sometimes to hover as nothing. I'm trying to show you living how to look. The fabrication will always have patched edges, but we could put a new thing in. It shines and keens. What would be the point if I killed you? The smell of death is back. Albert says I guess they like it. Should we remove liking from the new universe? I don't see it anymore, I say. But I'm nothing now. Take it and place it, wound a rough sound. I've got a lot of it from that same source, shadow half cocked. But you're here even if you don't bleed, fortunate as dice. So we put this one on because it got made in the eon. I found yellow tinge or something fast, both swift and sticking. Press red there, and then ignition. Think the spark. It's still, but it goes. Trees over there. I'm in your writing hand. Need bare echo lace, need outer space glued down nice pieces. Why? So I could see it. I want the liberty of corpse night counter to starring. The star, you say. The star had qualities of myself. That was what they bought, half-dumb hypocrites. These words play out of the cube, sung out of it. All the things I make come out of your hand. I am just a dead sucker. Remake me as this new design your heart. I can be your heart, your chest of gold and woe or apart. Signed, all of inanimate memory. Cube. It isn't straight-edged, it wavers and curves sometimes. Okay. Or opens into space with a dark shoot. It's unanthropomorphic memory taking hold again. On the other side of words, I'm being crowned with gold thorns. Why were we born? Why is there a universe? We weren't born. I beg to differ, says one's mother. How many dimensions mental in the cube thing I'm fashioning set against the fire of your I was born to love dimension? So the fire glows without tinder or aggression in one corner. I fall down the chute. Who is as barren as the mountain where I go with one existential olive tree? Cube I'm fashioning to attach to the burgeoning dimensionality of, take my hand and write, conquered a planet once, now tremble to construct real reality, beaten by the inner gods, the dimensionally estranged first times we were I remember some objects being like these vibrant cubicles. They're just like what you see, aren't they? With your eyes. I remember the beauty of the souls of my words grouped. People in reds, greens, and blues attaining the vocal bandwidth, articulating how we're to be as they climb the desolate mount, smiling, all intermixed, all experience, fit exchange. Seizes my hand. I seize your hand to write, I'm dead. The real becomes bigger now, the black gold stuff, cubes opening up, space malleable as always. I'm taking your construct, partly of evil, the substance, and I'm smearing it all over the sky of the dead because it's real, the dead are. And you, Alice, the live don't seem very real, though full of blood, but I'm telling them, trying to break the mind-mind barrier, that there is no God as they think it. Violence won't be a success. I'm believing you, Alice. Cubes or unstable small rooms of structure opening up. Now they're rounder opening clusters of dimensions. You are not catastrophic strophe of. I'm opening colors streak in the firmament, and gigantic souls of whales, elephants, and Alps turn somersaults together. I am to tell you, Alice, be brave. They've evolved from cube spheres to this kind of memory, infinitesimally made memory itself is changing, keeping up. I see the memory cube spheres with scenes attached, glued of my saying this. So aren't you rich with this knowledge of the spirit, our home? Peace. I take your pen, lots of invention, but what if there's no room? You have to be able to be there. So climb or descend stairs, want you to see us. The souls take up the room of, can't make this word come out. It means soul room. You could put it in an ashtray or surreality, which is above my shoulder. I write, yes, it writes, but not to be cute. So in the room you enter, or cube or round, we sit, we all have to fit. We worship you because we fit in your mind, but not worship. Attend, for you hold us. It's warmly lit, how you're accustomed to light, so it's like it. And that same red again, we're assembled. I tell you, my hand writes, the word is spacious. I mean, the word. And I was never flesh, but I was word, it writes. I am covered by rocks. I'm hillish like under a cairn. Now you speak to us. We make these rooms for our gradual cognizance of our existence, but we are all that exists. We must need to tell it to ourselves as shimmery components of the choir. The voices so infinite across. See the tissue, that's you, and I'm leading. It's very strong gauze, moth's wing. Orator. An assumption of proper power, boardship with the only orator, somewhere like Fécam's harbor. There are two sizes of power. I'm choosing the larger. I pledge my soul, anew, though perhaps indifferent. As a style assumed, it's just deployed outwards. To display your power, board ship in harbor and sail away. We went on board on a purple-gray day, the orator and I, to travel to significant ports and make speeches. The runes in my brain would tell me what to say. I'd been shy before, not eloquent extemporaneously, I thought, but the orator, who at first hadn't wanted to come, finally assented. Your brain will tell you, is this day a cubicle or canticle? This day of embarkment, the orator said, you will say, there is no death, then perhaps nothing else. You might add, on the other hand, the planet is dying. You will say, find your way, I will help you accept the vastness of your soul and let go of all you stood for you were only symbolic, to be seen as something familiar. But now, and I am talking to myself as well, know that no one has ever known you nor you them. Those who at this moment assume outward power in the world are callous, devious, potentially brutal, unmasked every day, then re-accepted. They would describe to you what you'd want, but you don't want anything. No one ever has. Contrary to the teachings, we're not born to desire, but to be. Leave this perverse memorization of the details of other people's imaginations and come with me. I promise nothing but to be in touch forever. You've broken my heart by being so lost. But now I don't mind. A broken heart stays open, and as the dead do, you can place it in my heart, your crimes and mischievous thoughts. I forgive you in a promise of transformation. I am the forgiver. Alan, for I must have been in doubt. Alice, you have to take part in what the ongoing dismemberment of evolution, or its unwinding like a snake around a tree trunk. The tree of life then dissolves its dust. We're the other thing, Alice. Place your hands on my upturned palms. They're an image. Do it, please. You who have healed of me my wound, what wound? I couldn't really think with what I saw. I couldn't combine images of others and myself. I couldn't think of us as one. As we unite more, going backwards, till we reprocess the dark, I still need your love, he continues. Why? It seems to be the only real power, and inside me it melts anguish. You knew we wanted you for this. You will use me forever. That's a moment playing back on itself, a note gently rewound. Have I nothing to say about it? This was your fate, or this is what you always were, unchanging. I almost saw it when I was alive. I thought it was maternal, but that's just a human detail. You could love anything and ignore it at the same time because you were with it in one time. The condition we have returned to, everything not only equal but mixed. Your love glues it. Don't be afraid for me to say this. My hands remain on his palms, which I can't see. And there's one more. The ending disappears. I only see the parts of words. I walk up, not downstairs, without counting. I walk up to a chair, up a red staircase, ziggurat to a brown chair, wood chair with slats thrown, and sit down in my long gray hair. Elements of the universe, we now understand who we are. Those who slip back and forth between life and death. Lit and dark matters because we can. Our concentration is all we are, mental and sometimes material. We speak sweetly, playfully, fulsomely, adroitly, and masterfully to each other in minds. We are, in fact, destroying sorrow, though destroy may be too strong a word, but we are done with it. And with regret and self-searing guiltiness, if you are maimed of your own evil acts, you must now stand free. Loathing and self-loathing have no place here, for you are all my love. The psyche is abolished. Explanations cannot thrive in this exalted and enduring moment. No one cares what happened to anyone or thing. Starting over and over in the reign of the particles of bliss, though they remember hints and mood of other eras, that is moments. Within this moment, they are above and anew. We are above God, somewhere never traveled, yet known in part before, and we make and we talk for no reason. This could be known as love, as could my soul's embrace of every soul, but as we have never had to know a thing or learn to speak, continue now. The castle we build dissolves and resumes as it will, or as we build our will, that is memory, into it. Colors I can recall, you say, in the heart of non-dominion. Any open heart, my dark wedge-shaped entree, the color of dark woven air, and you may still place cares there if they arise, but that may be rare in occurrence. I accept anyone, anything, and so do you, of our fabric, our laboratory's invention, our transcendent product, the price paid, throughout and melded, our oneness, the only substance we have fought for and won, love, caritas, charity, grace, we are, and no one can be excluded. For the new memory is now, and the glints of past are only particles glistening. If the liquid is tears, that's all you remember. It is so intermixed and gone into a living texture. Let none think there was an ease in arriving, but all is forgotten and the forgiveness pattern worn out. Certain olden words dissolve like written fire, already gone, and I am here forever, as you wish, the figure of the new memory, the new particles, the new mind, am yours and no other.
Thank you so much, Alice Notley. Thank you, everyone, for being here and for listening. Our next event is tomorrow night, a lecture with Sister Dr. Alexis Pauline Gums. That's over Zoom. And then on November 12th, we're presenting the album and book launch for Jerome Ellis's The Clearing. Thank you again, and good night.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling.
Yeah, I think